Rapid intensification is taking place here just towards the east of the Philippines. Uwan, also known as Feng Wong, is starting to get its act together and quickly organizing. Still going to be coming on shore, likely as a strong Cat 3 equivalent, possibly a Cat 4 borderline super typhoon. And at least according to Bagasa, they're actually still expecting a super typhoon at landfall here on Sunday. So here's a look at the current satellite, and one of the big things you take away from the satellite right off the bat is this is trending a little bit further towards the south. So possible landfall, or at least just skirting Catanduanes and northern areas of Samar. But also on microwave imagery, you can see the eye wall right in here. That is wrapping up. And when I say rapid intensification, it's not just me saying that and going, ooh, it looks strong. And this is actually Dvorak analysis. It's from the University of Wisconsin. And basically, you see this line right here? Look at that big jump up in the red. So this went from here on the 8th. No, actually, this is, of course, about 6 hours here on the 8th. Going from 55 knots up to 110 knots just over a very short period. This is that big explosive jump that we always fear with these storm systems when they happen. And this is why Pagasa is still expecting a super typhoon skirting the coastline of Catanduanes and coming on shore in central Aurora here. As we go ahead, this would be Sunday. That's at 2 p.m. This notch right there, that would be at 2 a.m. Landfall likely going to be around 8 to 9 p.m. on Sunday. Now, with that said, it's not going to start at 8 to 9 p.m. on Sunday. Basically, here tonight, Saturday night, already seeing the rain bands across northern areas of Samar, and then it starts to pass north of Catanduanes as we go ahead through our day here on Saturday. So that landfall in Aurora, don't let that mislead you. You're already going to have those impacts well ahead of that storm coming across this area. This is the multiple agency track, by the way, looking at Pagasa, Taiwan, JMA, ChDWC, Hong Kong, all agree on this track. This is high confidence between the agencies. These are not numerical models, by the way. These are multi-agency forecast tracks indicating that very similar output. And the other thing is you look at the center line, of course, and I always show the center line, and that's where the core of the storm is. But the overall girth of this is large. Signal Force 3 already up in Catanduanes and Camarines, much of the Bicol region, I should say, up and down the East Coast. So you got Signal Force 2, including parts of the Cagayan Valley. But where the Catanduanes, I absolutely expect Signal Force 4, possible 5. Aurora, where this is going to come on shore, Isabela, Bulacan, eastern areas of Rizal, all going to be looking at Signal Force 4, likely 5, where this is making landfall. I'm not going to get specifics because Signal Force warnings are a subjective matter according to Pagasa, to be quite frank. So make sure you're checking with them. This is their graphic. It's their product. It's what they put out. Storm surge threat, though, along the East Coast is also a possibility. In fact, according to Pagasa, basically a 3-meter high storm surge is possible, stretching around Isabela, northern areas of Cagayan, basically from Santa Ana all the way down here towards the southern reaches of the Bicol region. But Manila Bay also could still be looking at a 1 to 2 foot storm surge. And you can see right here, Pangasinan, as those winds wrap around. Let's say the storm's coming in like this, counterclockwise rotation. So those winds are going to wrap around the island and hit up into the bay there. So along the coast of Pangasinan, please, please, please understand that the west coast in those bays and inlets also could be looking at a fairly significant storm surge here as that pushes on by. And this is another graphic just to kind of show you what I'm talking about here with those winds wrapping around from the north here. By the way, if you're new to this channel, I want to take just a quick moment to say, hey, could you hit that subscribe button? Got a lot of new people here. Almost 200,000 subscribers. If we do, it helps the algorithm to get these videos shared out. So just take a moment, hit that subscribe. If once we get that 100K, I promise I will never ask again. I've been saying that for the last few years. Anyways, all right, back to the latest information here. So yeah, this is from the Google DeepMind, the newest AI model, also showing and this is what's important, I think, is that right here, you can see that track, and some of the deep mine, some of the AI output actually brings us very, very close to northern Catanduanes Island with a possible landfall, and I think that's absolutely in the realm of possibility. But let's say this line right here doesn't impact Catanduanes directly. You're still going to have the eye wall cross over, even though the low-level center is just offshore. And then a Puliludo, goodness, I always say your name wrong. I apologize. The same deal with that island there. And then I keep on talking about Casigoran because they are in the right front quadrant. All right, so that's talking about the winds. We talked about the storm surge. Now let's talk about the rainfall threat here, because that is the other side of this. And as we've seen in Cebu with our last storm, Tino, this Cebu, the low-level center passed across northern areas of the island, but Cebu was hit by catastrophic flooding. Similar in some of these areas are possible because, of course, Catanduanes low-level center, 200 to 300 millimeters. And the problem, I think, and I've been saying this in the last few videos, so I apologize if I'm redundant, but some people are just new to the channel and they're just watching this for the first time. The rain is going to fall across the Sierra Madre Mountains, the Cordillera Mountains. Even the Sierra Madres extend well down towards the south. So you're going to get a lot of these rivers heading into the NCR. These rivers will swell. Say it again. These rivers will swell in Manila. Those flood-prone homes are going to get flooding. Pangasinan, very similar. It's actually, Pangasinan is a twofer because you're going to have the storage backing up some of those rivers, and then at the same time, you're going to have that coming down. But actually, the surge is more of an immediate threat. That water will go out. Then the water is going to flow out of the mountains into those rivers. So that's more of a day after threat. And the same thing for the Cagayan Valley. Of course, the higher elevations here are going to see across the mountains 200 to 300 millimeters. Some spots could see as much as 4. But then it flows down into the valley and heads up across a good portion of Isabela. And yeah, even though Cagayan is not directly taking the hit of this storm system, you will get that rain, and it won't be immediate. It'll probably be the day and 2 after as that water slowly gets released. The Maga Dam already has, I think, 3 gates open right now. So they're making those preps ahead of this. But even with that, and very smart by them, I know a lot of hate on the government right now. I get it. They're stretched thin for starters. But anybody from the Maga Dam, if you are watching, I know we visited there before. Smart group of people, but that's not countering into why I'm saying this, by the way. It was very smart to release the water ahead of time instead of after when the rivers are already swelled. So yeah, that's just want to share that, making those preps ahead of here, and that's good. And that is leading to my next point: make those preps now. This storm system is just a few hours out. Things like charging your phones, obviously we know that, but some other things you don't think about. If you got a good insurance plan, if you're fortunate enough to have that, take photos of your home right now, especially in one of these flood-prone areas. It never hurts. Takes 2 seconds, so you can show insurance companies, yeah, I do have this. The other thing is a Ziploc bag or a plastic bag. Put your important stuff in there. Passports, things like that. Money, something that if there is something that catastrophic does happen, you have it in a safe space, you have all that stuff gathered together and you don't lose it. And then you have another headache, right? So yeah, here's another look at the rainfall threat though. And you can see that here. Mountains get the highest amount, but it's not just reserved to you guys. It really is going to be running down into those lower level elevation areas. But this is the other thing I just want to point out one more time. It's just the girth of this storm. Look at the swath where the rainfall is going to hit from northern areas of Leyte all the way back towards the northern areas of Cagayan and Ilocos Norte. All right, so before the arrival, also know your official sources. Pagasa, obviously, they've been doing a good job at providing information on the storm. Prepare to evacuate if needed, please. Don't go, Even your local shelter, and a lot of people on the East Coast know this. They know where their local shelters are, and they're smart about it. So Just be smart. And yeah, that emergency go kit, and just make sure your valuables are in the right spot. I also, just a little friendly piece of advice from your silly weatherman here. All right, so big shout out, by the way, to our Patreon members. I want to stress that again. You're the reason why I'm sacrificing sleep, and I shouldn't say that. It's not really a sacrifice, but I am continuing to push along here. Multiple typhoons, just the continued support from the community, and yeah, just want to stress that. Thank you guys so much for your continued help here as well. But once again, just to wrap this up with a nice bow, this is undergoing rapid intensification. At this time, the Dvorak analysis shows this big jump. I would fear if we had recon flying into this, it probably would be indicating something stronger. And yeah, it's growing. Big wind field too. Just that is the area there of 30 kilometers per hour, 22 knots or higher. Absolutely massive. And already parts of eastern Visayas and southeastern Luzon are feeling the effects of this storm system. Try to make a stream later on tonight, by the way. Well, I guess heading into your Saturday night, Sunday morning. So stand by for that. If you see me put one out, stop by as well. But I'm trying to make these videos in between a bunch of other things going on here this weekend personally. So number one thing, though, is for you, friends. Please stay safe out there. Also, I keep on giving a little PSAs here. Check out Western Pacific Weather on Facebook. A lot of these graphics, just type in Western Pacific Weather. See right there on the bottom of the screen. Also, westernpacificweather.com. I've been posting posts there, but they're more immediate on our Facebook page. That's really the number one spot we post our stuff. A lot of good graphics, not just from me, but a whole team of weather forecasters there putting stuff together. All right. Stay safe out there, friends.